Okay, nice. I'll keep this one open here. Cool. Okay. Made the chat. Feel free, guys, to ask me any questions. If I'm in the middle of speaking, I'll answer them as we go on. Cool. Okay. So pretty good week overall here. Let's take a look at the euro real quick here. Okay. So I know I mentioned let's go back to the in the forecast about these lows here. Not exactly too sure if we will end up running to them right now. What I've been looking at is we've grabbed these lows, right? All this liquidity here. And before taking it, we had this big buildup to the downside, right? So lots of sellers left in the market here. Only thing I don't like is how you see how we've taken out the highs here, then respected the lows, taken out the highs, respected the lows. So it's not my favorite bit of price action. That's why I'm just a little bit hesitant if these lows are going to go. You kind of just got to take it day by day sometimes. And then if we do end up running for the lows, things will get a little bit more clear. So as for now, I'm kind of on the sidelines with EU on a higher time frame, or more even like a daily, weekly perspective. I'm sure we're going to have some intraday plays here and there. We'll cover one that happened today. But overall, I'm not too sure on the bias as of right now, meaning like I don't know if these lows are gonna be left for later or if we're gonna run them now and then go long. So again, when this kind of price action gets presented to me, I kind of just take it day by day. And then when, for example, these lows get swept, a lot more things get clear, right? Especially higher time frame wise. Okay, cool. So I believe there was some. Let's go to gold quick because there was some stuff on gold I wanted to cover. Okay. Yeah, gold is an interesting one this week. I was so keen on catching this short below, but the entry, there was just nothing up here, unfortunately. So same thing we always like to see, right? Price respects this low to the left-hand side. Okay. And we move away, building that liquidity. Finally, we run it here. Price comes back below. You can see we have our trap that occurs here. Buyers induced, buyers trapped, liquidity block. There we go. So we have this mitigation down below. Okay, so tap that liquidity block, run that liquidity here. Okay, and then we end up going long. Okay, and then before we continue going long, look how we respect this high. Okay, we kind of covered this in the case study. Respect that high and go short. Now tells me we have liquidity above this high, and I want to see a buy into that, right? So there was a clean setup that was presented. Let me use the replay here. Gonna cover this again because it was honestly super clean. Okay, so as we approach the high to the left-hand side, we respect it temporarily, right? This high respects the high to the left. Why? Because it was a liquidity block. And then we move away, telling me again, now I have this buy target in mind. Okay, now I have somewhere to buy into, an area to target. Cool. So now what happens is we respect the high, we go short, and look how we respect these lows here. False reactions right here. Okay, and we even go higher to clear some internal here, which induces even more buyers. And now we're going to have a lot more people buying from these lows. So if I simply just drag this all the way over, I want to see price below here. And then obviously we have the wick and we have imbalances down here. It can go as deep as it wants. If I'll probably just be watching lower time frames when we run these lows, right? So as we speak about a lot of the times, if I do want to take extreme entries over here from the left, it has to be if there's a liquidity block, right? We always talk about it. If there's a liquidity block, then we can take the entry like this. Okay, but unfortunately there wasn't here. Maybe like a little one here. Again, nothing too clean for me to just trust too much. So simply what I do is I just want to wait for price to build an entry here in this price action. Okay, so you need that data to get printed, and then it'll build us something. So we run all the lows, and then initially we get a reaction up. Same concept as this. We take the highs, okay, buyers induced. Then we take the lows right here. Perfect. Buyers are now trapped. This is going to be a trap if we get reactions up here, which we do. Before we even take, or sorry, before we actually get that false reaction to the lows, look how we get high, low, high. Okay. So structurally speaking, where is retail going to be buying this thing? Right here. We do not want to be buying from there. We want to see price below. So we grab that low, and you can technically buy anywhere below this. And this is when, again, we speak about all the time. If your RR makes sense, it all depends if you want to be using, if you want to be buying as soon as the liquidity is taken. So it'd be like this, or if you want to wait for some sort of imbalance to get tapped to the left-hand side to refine it a little bit more to make sure that RR makes sense for you. Okay. Again, I always talk about how I like to just take when the liquidity is taken, and my target, simple stuff right to the highs. Okay. This is a textbook trade, literally textbook. We have this high, respecting this high to the left-hand side, moved away from it, telling me now sellers are induced here, liquidity above. Okay. Now we just want to see our setup form. That's it right here. And like I said, in order for us to take this extreme entry, we would need to have a liquidity block to the left, which we did not have. So we just wait for price action to build us that entry. No problem. Okay. And that's exactly what we get right here. So there's my entry, and there's my target. If I drag this all the way over, boom, just like that. Okay. Time of day ends up hitting. So target, or sorry, entries taken a little later in New York. Yeah, 2.5 hours into New York, and then targets hit in Asia. So partials, let me see if it would have made sense. Yeah, you could have taken a little bit of a partial right here if you wanted to. Maybe take off enough to cover your risk at this high, inducement high. Okay, because you can see after we run it, we get a little bit of reactions for a little bit. So again, it's up to the type of trader you are. If you're confident in holding to your targets, then do it. If you wanted to partial on the way there, you can also do that. Find what works for you, what you're comfortable with, and stick to that, right? Cool. So this was gold on Tuesday. We did take these longs, so that was clean. But then, yeah, talking about the higher time frames here. So we end up going through this high over here. We have lots of internal we left to the left. Like, look at all this liquidity here. So we end up running all the internal. Oops. Running all of that. Okay. And left some liquidity at the lows that you can possibly see get ran. Look how price actually even runs into this area. Liquidity block, false reaction up. Runs that and continues off. As for entries up here, it's a tough one. So someone sent in the group if there was an entry here. The only thing you could have done here, honestly, was as M5 mitigation here, this liquidity block. Other than that, there's nothing I like, right? I would have wanted to see just our classic setup form, some sort of build up. So if we get some sort of like build up like this, right? Sellers in the market here. Now we want to see price above that high. Okay. So that would be a sell for us. That's the kind of setup I would have liked to see, or it could have been something like sometimes we get that channel going down, right? And then we take something from the left over here and it forces a run up, traps all those sellers, and then we'll take the short down. But we didn't get anything like that, unfortunately. So only entry would have been this, an M5 mitigation. Other than that, nothing I like too much. It just honestly died too, right? Just from there, we moved. Oops. Like, this is a mental move. 750 pips. And I believe this was Wednesday. Oh no, we have iPhone joining again. 1 second, guys. Whoever just joined, you have your name set to iPhone. Can you please just let me know who that is? iPhone. Let me know who this is. If you don't speak up, I'm gonna have to remove you, man. Whoever it is. Would you look at that? They're gone. Guys, I don't know if someone in here is sharing links. Let's not do that, please. I'll happily boot you if you do. There's no point. I can't drink either. Nice. Spilling my drink all over my shirt. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So we take all the highs. Did expect this sell-off to occur. Again, it was a tough one. Couldn't get involved in it. Big move to the downside. I believe the next day, or this is in Asia. Grabbed internal. This was kind of clean, actually, looking back at this, but this is in Asia. Take the low, take the high, liquidity block. Okay. So Asia entry, unfortunately, wasn't really a time that I'm looking at the charts, usually at least, but same thing still applies. That would have been an entry there. Stop goes above. You can open up a little bit and just continue targeting something to the left-hand side. So in this example here, we reacted off this area from the left. So we can target that. Keep it nice and easy. Okay. But yeah, that's it. That's it for this one here. Yeah, we can go down to Thursday. No entry here either. This was clean. Directionally speaking, at least it was clean. Look at the liquidity we were building at the highs up here. Stabbed into it once, twice, 3 times, and then we even induced lower again, which just automatically brings in more sellers into the market, thinking that this is going to be BOS, momentum shift, whatever it is. And we end up taking them all out. But again, just no entries, unfortunately. Take them out and then dive down right to the lows. Boom. Again, just no entries. Moving to Friday or Thursday. Asia. So last night, unfortunately, I wanted to wish I was looking at it, but I wasn't. Let's take a look at this. So look how we print this low yesterday in New York, and then we continue going long from here. Respect the highs a little bit. Okay. Again, once, twice, 3 times, move away. Now we got liquidity up here on an intraday perspective. Of course, we want these highs to be taken out overall. But on just not added confluence, this high here is going to be bringing in sellers. We respected it over here, moved away. We run for internal and then go long. Okay. Same thing here. Trap buyers. Okay. We get false reaction to the upside, clearing internal liquidity. This is going to be trap. Want to see price below? Oops. Want to see price below here. As for entries, in order for us to take this down here, same thing. We'd need a liquidity block to the left. Unfortunately, we don't have one, so we would have needed that. We don't have that, unfortunately. So no entries on the extreme to catch that bottom. Confirmation base. Wow, this is kind of clean. Check this out. So build up a liquidity here. You know what? We'll open it up on the 1 minute just so you guys can see a little bit better. I can see it on the 5, but you can open it up a bit. So structurally speaking, high, low, high, low, high, right? Look at this buildup we have. Build up a liquidity here, this channel. Okay. Then we get a false reaction lower. What is this? Liquidity block. So how can we take this? We want to see price below this low. Okay. Because that's where the liquidity is. And then sitting right below that is a liquidity block. So we can take an entry right when the liquidity, boom, stop goes below. Or you can open it up a bit if you have a little. There's actually no spread on buys, just to let you guys know. But we can still open it up. And why did this high print? Look to the left. Okay, this high. So if we grab that high there, drag it over, there's a good target. Boom. Everyone understand this trade? All good, all good. Yeah. No questions? You see how clean it can be, right? You just want to wait for that buildup to occur. So for example, here, wait for that buildup to occur, wait for this trap move, clearing it. And then you just wait for that liquidity block. If there's one to the left-hand side, it makes it really easy. You can just enter right away, or you'd have to wait for something to build right here. Any re-entries after that? Let's take a look. Eh, sort of maybe below this low, but I don't like it too much. Other than that, no, nothing I like too much, to be honest with you. Wait, let me see if it respects this. Respects this high, moves lower. Damn. No, nothing I like too much, to be honest with you. Maybe would have liked to see price below here. Other than that, nothing too pretty. There was one in New York as well today. Longs targeting the high on gold. When was that? Here? Oh wow. Wait a second. My apologies. You're talking about here, right? 820. Yeah. So right here. Perfect. Yeah. No, this is clean for sure. And yeah, and that high to target. Wow. I didn't look at gold, but wow, yeah, this was good. Same thing. When liquidity is taken, at the low. Yeah, Ryan, we speak about it, man. Like whenever the 5 minute is squeezed up, just literally go down a time frame, open up the price action more. That's as simple as that, right? If the 1 hour is really squeezed up and you can't see what's going on the 1 hour, just go down a time frame and open up the price action. So people make a big mistake of saying like, oh, this time frame is for this, that time frame is this. It's no, it's like whatever's clear to you in this given moment. That's it. Okay, so if I can just tell this is pretty squeezed up on the M1. If I was on the M5, I wouldn't be able to make sense of this price action right here. Right? It'd be very choppy and like just bunched together. So I can't make sense of it. So you just go on the M1. Very rarely does the M5 squeeze up that much where you have to go to M1. And if you are, it's most likely because you're taking a scalp of some sort. But yeah. But yeah, good call on this. This was a clean long. Yeah, getting out perfect. M5 is also good on the straight, to be honest. Okay, let's take a look. It was. It was. Yeah, see, like this is the kind of price action I'm talking about. If you had this kind of PA you were trying to trade on M5, like it's just, or not even just M5. This is just for the to understand like what I'm talking about. If this was just on any time frame, you wouldn't be able to. So if this was H1, go down to 15 or M5, and then this price action here will make more sense. You just got to open it up. But yeah, very clean. High taken, low taken, liquidity block, clean buy there, right? You can take that buy as soon as the liquidity is taken. You can take it when the candle's tapped, so it'd be right there. Either one would have worked. So perfect. Cool. Let's take a look at this thing on the higher time frame now, where we think it's gonna be going. Okay. So highs taken last week, yeah. Lows left. Okay, lots of lows left. Started them in breaking down bearish. Back to the daily. Respected this liquidity block area where we ended up moving bullish from. Okay. These are one of those ones where we can easily respect this and continue off and just leave liquidity. Okay. So just be aware of those kind of things. We haven't returned to these areas yet. So even if we do come up here, I do definitely anticipate some sort of false reaction. Whether we come lower or not, I'm not too sure. But as of right now, there's just no liquidity I see in the market in the current price action. I need to see more PA in my opinion. We've taken out this high, left this internal. It's just one of those ones I can't really put my finger on it right now. I just need more price action for sure. But coming off the back of this reaction down here, this was nice. So I marked out this whole area as a daily. You could have refined it down to this area down here. Marking out, let me put the line here so you can see. This is the last low, right? Anywhere below that low is that liquidity block. So we can even look on for an imbalance and stuff down here. But yeah, see, we have an imbalance over here. Go to the 5-minute. Imbalance over here. And there's probably like 1 minute down here, but you don't need to get to that refined. If you just grab that last low, being this low here, Tuesday 12:45, and grab the bottom of the liquidity block, price anywhere in this area is going to be an interest to us. Okay, and as you can see, we respect this area, move higher, smart money trap at the highs like we were talking about before. We get a false sell-off to clear internal, and then we move higher. Do you have any advice on how to focus on the main structural points in the market? Because I feel like when I drop to lower timeframes, I focus too much on irrelevant points. I don't know what you mean by that. Do you have any advice on how to focus on the main structural points in the market? I don't know, man. I drop to a lower time frame to focus too much on irrelevant points. I guess stay off the lower time frames more, right? I mean, when you're on the lower time frames, there's more price action available to you. Yeah, of course. There's going to be a bunch on M5 on M1. That's why you got to make sure you start higher and work lower, and the higher is going to give you that bias. And then when you move to the lower when you have that bias, you don't go to the lower to find a bias. Yeah, no worries, brother. Have a good weekend. When it comes to inducement to the left, you know how you say to go for the high. Wait, to go for the high at the high. I'm gonna need an example of that. There's a lot of highs you said. If you go for the high that what high was just reacted from, the high rejected to another high. Oh my God. Do you have an example of like a current price? Like a chart example, something that happened recently. Okay. What? Does it make sense? No. I don't know what you mean. Like we've taken out this high. Maybe we get a pullback and there's internal here that needs to get taken out.
Like, I mean, like, let's say we're in a trade here, right? So, you know how you say usually, like, after this high is taken, you would want to really sell after this high is taken because since this one reacted to this high,
Yeah, but okay. If I'm
you know what I
selling,
mean?
if I'm selling after these highs are taken, what am I targeting right now?
Oh, yeah, there's no liquidity buildup here.
There's not, I don't see anything down here. So it's important to think of ways to keep everything repetitive, but you have to and systematic, but you have to pair that with liquidity, right? Liquidity is what gives us our direction. If you want to be selling after this, but there's just no liquidity down here, then what are we looking for, right?
Yeah, yeah, okay. Okay, I understand. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
No worries. Okay, cool. Did you guys, I think some of you guys took a GU trade today? I saw a Charkin. Oops. Oh, down here. Nice. Nice build up here on the higher time frames. Price takes out. Ooh, we didn't come for the low. Actually, we don't need to come for the low because this whole area is a smart money trap. My fault there. So all reactions here are trap. I'll go with 15. So here's an example. I got asked why I go down to specific time frames. If I'm looking at this on the hourly right now, to find like highs and lows it's a headache, right? So I go down to the 15, and now I can see things a little more clearly. It makes more sense now. But even here, like I can't really make sense of that too much. Simple stuff. Go down 10-5. And just things open up and you can see highs and lows better, what's taken, what's not taken. Things get a lot more easier, right? So now I can see we get a run of this, lots of internal liquidity left to the downside. We end up running for that here. Okay, and false reactions at the highs. This is going to be traps. We're not looking to sell from there. We can anticipate false reactions. Okay, then price moves lower. And we hunt for all of this. This wiki stuff here is gross. I don't know what this is, but we run for all of that. Okay. As for taking an entry at the extreme, would have to be some sort of clean liquidity block. This price action looks disgusting over here. So I wouldn't be looking for any extreme entries. I'd be looking for, like I've talked about before, just wait for that price action to build and see if it can give you an entry. So I believe some of you guys took this. Let me take a look here. Yeah, I don't mind this trade actually. So buyers induced here. Okay, so we've induced higher. We get false reactions from the left-hand side. So sellers are looking to enter here. Okay, so we bump our heads into there and we move lower to clear internal. Trap buyers. And what do we have right below? I would use this as a liquidity block, to be honest. Concept still applies. So buy here. Stop goes below. You can honestly, so in this example here, what's the difference between this low and this low? It's probably very minuscule. Let's take a look. It's about a pip. So just open it up below the low. You don't need to have the exact pinpoint stop loss. If it's a pip difference between two lows, I would just open it up a little bit more. And then your target, you have all of these highs we've left here. And then maybe next week, because it's late Friday now, we end up running for this. But definitely a good partial point being right here. Oops, right there. Just like that. But yeah, clean one there. Perfect. Cool. Anybody got any questions so far? We can cover, let's cover Euro though, because there was an entry today I did like. Again, what we were talking about at the beginning. These are going to be more intraday based perspectives right now. More of in and outs because of the sole fact of I'm just not sure if these lows are going to be targeted yet or not. So we'll see. Next week we'll tell the story for sure. But as for now, that's what I'm going to cover right now. So high respected, moved away. Now I'm keen on buys. Now I like buys because we respected the high and moved away. Why did we respect the high and move away though? Look at this big buildup we had. Okay. High, low, respects the low, move away, respects the low, move away. So continuously building that liquidity to the downside, this internal liquidity. And we have this being a liquidity block. Okay. So what I usually do is I'd grab that last liquidity point, and this would be a buy here. But like, look how big my stop would have to be to cover that liquidity block down there. So I'm gonna have to wait for price to build something. So I'll mark this as I need this liquidity taken. And then again, anywhere below this, I want to see an entry get built for me. And look what happens here. We induce higher to induce buyers. And what have we left down here? Liquidity. Okay. Even if you wanted to get like a pinpoint entry, look at this last inducement low down here. Stabs right into it. I didn't wait for the most perfect one. I took it like this. And my target. So I was looking at the high from the left. As you can see, we've actually just ended up moving away and coming back down to hunt for more internal. Is this going to be it? I'm not too sure. I managed my position accordingly and took a little bit of partials, but it might not work out now. So it is what it is. This happens. We've respected the highs and moved lower. Maybe these highs are going to be left now, and we're going to come for the lows. So these are just things we're starting to leave liquidity on both sides of the market now, right? Lows and highs. So how can I pinpoint what direction we're going to go to next? I can't really do that right now. I need to see lows taken and highs taken. When we start leaving liquidity on both sides of the market, that's when you start second guessing your analysis. That's when trading can become very toxic very quick, right? So I like this buy into the high, but now that we've respected it and moved away, I'm not too sure if we're going to run back up there now. So it is what it is. I'm not always going to have the direction bang on, but now I got to react accordingly. So like I said, I'm not going to continuously keep trading this pair if I have liquidity on both sides of the market. Again, this will lead to stupid habits. Like for example, if you take a trade and you're not too sure on your bias, there's liquidity on both sides of the market, then you're going to mismanage it. You're going to take partials early. You're going to close early. You're not going to trade professionally. Okay. Because of the sole fact if you're not confident in your bias, it's all like a chain reaction. Okay. So if you're not confident in your bias, I definitely highly recommend you just sit on your hands, wait for liquidity to get taken on one side of the market. So for example, maybe these lows are highs and then reanalyze. Things get a lot more easier. I'd always say it to you guys. So we'll see. It's literally the end of the day on Friday now. So price action is going to be dead 90% of the time going forward. But yeah, would you say the buys were invalid? Yeah, Ryan, does this make sense to you? The buys I was talking about? Perfect. But as for EU, yeah, I remember which one you took. It's not wrong. It's just one of those ones I probably wouldn't take because my stop loss would have to be so big. But don't get me wrong, the whole concept of why you took it and your stop loss placement was bang on. It's just one of those ones I wouldn't take that because my stop loss would have to be massive. So unless my target was massive as well, this isn't an entry I'd take. But it's not wrong. Okay. So you did have the right analysis and the markup was good. Yeah, but no, that's fine though. Don't worry about it. I just want to make sure that you're taking the correct trades, right? And the trade was correct, the entry was correct, and the stop loss placement was good as well. So that's a W on its own. But that's EU. I believe, did we take something on US 30 this week? I don't remember. Honestly, there's quite a few good trades just earlier in the week, and then later on going forward, it wasn't the best. Gold, yeah, that's about it. Anybody got any questions? Any other pairs maybe you want me to look at real quick? Any topics that you guys are struggling on, let me know. Right, that's what these webinars are for, right? You guys come, if you have any questions, anything you're struggling with, I want to make sure it can be chart related or even just mental related. How to go about trading challenges, funded accounts, like all these things. That's what I'm here for, right? So just ask me questions. And yeah, let me know.
I actually have got a question, Marco.
What's up?
So I actually have before joining into equity, I was actually I was trading a profitable strategy before this. But it was just that, it's not like as bigger targets. I'd rather be able to like take a trade and then like if I'm in the trade and I'm at break even, I can manage it throughout the day. My other strategy didn't work like that. I was talking to Abid about it, right? So
Okay.
so my question is, would you say um that to like stop trading like because I had stopped trading it to focus on this strategy, but would you say it would be better to keep doing that until I master this strategy, or would you say it's to what do you call it to trade my own
Yeah.
strategy live? Like if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend bouncing between strategies would do your head in probably. If you had a profitable strategy before, I don't know why you need to go to a different one. Profitability is profitability, right? If you have smaller targets, that's fine. You up the volume a bit. But if you want to stick with this strategy in the system, um, that's completely fine. I just don't recommend bouncing between two. That'll screw with your head for sure. Like having two different, unless it's like more of a time-based strategy, meaning you hold for a certain amount of time. But if it's a whole different system overall, like you trade completely differently, then no, I don't recommend bouncing between the two for sure.
Yeah, it is a completely different system. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I would, yeah, like, but my plan is to like, because because my plan was once, because like the other strategies is really just like, scalping strategy. Sometimes I see like I'd be sitting at the computer for like, a long time. So,
Mhm.
but the plan was that once, like I mastered this strategy, then I just trade only this one and just keep
Yeah,
trading
yeah.
that one.
That's definitely the best way to go about it for sure.
Oh, okay. All right,
Right.
thanks.
Stick with the one. Yeah, you'll confuse yourself for sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Anyone else in the chat? Let me know, guys. Even if you want to unmute yourself to ask any questions, please. That's what I'm here for. Especially anybody that's newer to the content, that's going through content, they're a little bit confused. Let me know. No, 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 nothing, nothing. Can you go over US 30? Like, what do you want me like? You want to do a whole top down kind of vibe? See what it's looking like right now. This thing is on the moon right now. Just today's PA. Okay, so took last week's low on Wednesday. Before taking it, classic, respect the low for a little bit, right? And then continue off to grab that liquidity. From there, let's see. Ooh. This looks nice down here, I think. It's like spiky and stuff. Okay. Highest taken, lows taken. Would have been a cheeky entry. To leave your stop below here would have been a little bit of a difficult one to do. And then here it's hard to say because this wick here, I'm assuming this is yeah, it's news. But this is one of these examples where this price action here, all I want to see, same thing over and over, right? From this low, I just want to see a buildup occur, a build up of some sort, a build up of liquidity. We run it. There's your entry. I have a little season to enter when I can sell it. Yeah, so this is just here. You know what? I'll come back to US 30 in a second, brother. Let me just go over this question real quick. It's as simple as I can honestly, let me even just draw this out. How can I draw this? Okay, so okay, cool. So let's say we have this kind of price action delivered to us, right? Look, we have price induced higher again. This is a trap. Even if we get reactions out of it, there's no reason like anticipate reactions out of it. That's fine because we will get them most of the time to build more liquidity, but we will not be buying from here. Okay. We want to see price below here. Okay. So as for entries, there's multiple different ways of taking this. So sometimes what happens is we'll get a liquidity build up on the way down, right? Like this. We come into this area. Look what we left here. Oops. We come into this area and we get false reaction up. We've left liquidity here. So how do we take this short entry here? If there is a liquidity block above here, we would take the sell, stop loss above. Okay. If there's no liquidity block here, then we'd need to wait for price to come above and then deliver us some sort of entry. So you need to wait for price action to print and wait for something like this to occur. Same thing. You have liquidity block here, you have liquidity here, and then you take the entry. Boom. Does that make sense? Now, we've gone long, or sorry, we've gone short. We've ran this liquidity at the lows. How can we take it? Look what we have to the left-hand side here. Liquidity block. So you could literally take the buy right here with your stop tucked below the liquidity block. Okay. And target this. And then maybe up here we get false reaction. So you take the buy here. We go long. Maybe we get false reaction here. Go short a bit. And then we continue going long. And then maybe come back like this and just continuation. Okay. So entries here would have been, again, the same thing. Build up, ran, here's an entry. And that's what you want to see in this price action over here. Same thing over and over. If you want to take the extremes, like we talk about, you need to have that liquidity block to the left-hand side because that's where the entry is going to be based off of. Because you're anticipating this area is going to provide us a reaction. So that's why you take it off this area and your stop loss goes below. Exactly. If there's no liquidity block, then you just simply wait for a confirmation. You not even a confirmation. You just wait for another liquidity block to form, and that's when your entry is going to be taken off of. Okay. Same thing here. If this was a liquidity block, that's an entry, right? Look. Boom. Does that make sense? Much better. Perfect. Okay, let's go back to US 30 real quick. Thanks. No worries. No worries at all. Okay, so we end up going long all the way down here. Thursday, Friday today. Dirty 30. Yes, sir. Okay, so buyers induced, buyers trapped, no liquidity block to the left-hand side. If we did, it would be like this. That would be a liquidity block. And then you could take a buy here. Unfortunately, your stop loss would have to be massive. But again, I just want to make sure you guys understand what I mean by that. All right. So no entry here. What we end up doing is look how we clear internal inducing buyers, and then we trap them. And then we move higher. Okay. This isn't an entry I'll take because this is literally right at stock open. Someone mentioned in the group, but it's almost like trading with news. Do not trade right before stock open. You'll hurt yourself. As for entries here, nothing I like. Nothing I like. I would have maybe wanted to see price below here. Okay, so false reactions here. Price comes lower, traps, and go higher. Yeah, definitely don't do that. Don't trade before stock open. But yeah, if I was looking to trade this, guys, simple stuff, high taken, low taken, liquidity block left, I would have wanted to see price below. Okay. And then whatever we're targeting to the left-hand side over here. Honestly, I wouldn't even like this too much. Scratch that kind of. We're trading above highs now. So buy probability goes down a lot. We can go long once more, right, to print that extreme. But now that we're trading above those highs, the probability of buys just goes completely down the drain. Okay. So lower time frame wise, the price action, I would have wanted this. But since we are trading above higher time frame highs, I wouldn't even be looking for buys here. No, thank you. All right. Oops. Cool. Any other questions, guys, before we sign off for the weekend? Let me know, please. See if any other pairs had any. Sometimes I like just going through other US major pairs. Wow, this thing sold off heavy. Where can this go now? Need to see a buildup occur. We can get reactions out of here. Look at this. So we've gone long ever since. might come for previous daily high. But yeah, look at the precision. Sometimes this happens, right? This whole area is a liquidity block. You grab that last low, price spikes for it. See if there's anything nice in the lower time frames. No, nothing. Ugly, ugly. GG's boys, all love. Sign off Monday. Before before I end this, let me take a look at because next week is NFP, I believe. Monday, no news. Tuesday, we got some USD news, a little bit of Euro. This kind of stuff isn't really that important sometimes. Wednesday. Wow, okay. Wow, okay. We got a big week coming up. Wednesday, FOMC. And thanks, buddy. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Hey, but at least okay. For sure. They're fun to make. So there has to be good stuff to go over because I don't just want to force one of those kind of videos. You know what I mean? But yeah, I will be making more for sure. Friday, to be honest, you haven't urged to trade. Demo trade Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't hurt to do that. Cool. Okay, guys, that's it for me. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you back in the Discord Monday morning. All right. Peace. Take it easy. Ciao, ciao, ciao.